Good day once again. We continue with our economics A-level class, still on market structure. We talked about the features of market structure in our previous class. Today we want to talk about each market structure and their characteristics and what makes them to exist in each industry. So we read competition and market structure. The neoclassical theory of the firm recognizes a number of market structures derived from the characteristics above. Their characteristics we talked about: the price of the product, the barriers to entry and exit, the size and the numbers of firms existing in the market. These are part of the features we talked about in the previous class. So today we want to take each market structure with its competitiveness. So that was about the market structure. So here is a summary of the characteristic of the main market structures. So for the main market structures, we have the perfect competition, we have monopolistic, we have oligopoly, we have monopoly. I think that's all for now. So we're going to start with one at a time. So the neoclassical theory of the firm, okay, we talked about that. So for perfect competition, why do we call it a perfect competition? We call it a perfect competition because in that market, large numbers of sellers are supplying homogeneous products in such market. And it means both buyers and sellers and competitors, they have access to the same information. Note, having access to the same information does not mean that they have access to all information within the market. It's simply, when we talk about having access to information, it simply means that the information that is accessible to business A or firm A is the same accessible to firm B, the same accessible to firm C or firm D and firm E and to infinity. That is what having access to information means. It doesn't mean that the industry has information about what could happen in the future. That is not what having the same information means. The same information here in perfect competition we are referring to is all firms within the industry are having the same access to the same information. That is about perfect competition. So I'm going to read further. Perfect competition exists where a large number of firms, each producing a homogeneous good, compete in the industry. None of the firm is large enough to have a direct impact on any other firm or on the market price of the good. There is freedom of exit and entry to the industry. So we call it a perfect competition because in this market, all firms in the market produce almost the same product, and none of them can easily impact on what would happen to each firm. So that means the action of one firm might not impact other firms. That is what they are saying here. So the market price is not determined by an individual. The market price is determined by the demand for and the supply of goods in that market. So that means price determination is based on demand and supply. It is not by an individual determining the price. That is a perfect competition. Then we have monopolistic competition. Why do we call it monopolistic competition? We call it monopolistic competition because it exists where there are large numbers of firms, each producing differentiated products. The firm have some control over the price they charge for their own products. It's a monopolistic competition because in this market, the market is large, but each firm produces differentiated products. They do not produce almost the same product. They produce products that are slightly different from one another, and they can simply charge whatever price. They have power to decide whatever price they want to charge because they are not producing almost the same products. The third one, oligopoly. And when we talk about oligopoly exists where there may be many firms in the industry, but a few large firms dominate and produce the majority of the output. Firms are interdependent and they make decisions taking into account what they think the behavior of the competitors will be. We call it oligopoly because in this market structure simply means that there are few large firms dominating the market. So it simply means that few large firms make most of the output in that industry. And in this type of market, there's interdependence, which means the action of one firm might affect other firms. In an oligopolistic competition, competitors always try to prevent price war by trying to ensure that they use advertisements or promotion to differentiate their products and to make them to gain or to maintain their dominance. That is for oligopoly. Then the last one is monopoly. For monopoly exists where there is only one firm in the industry Higher barriers to entry make it impossible for new firms to enter. For a monopoly is a market structure where we have only one supplier of goods or services within that industry. So here, because it is just one supplier of good or service, it means there's higher barrier to entry, and that higher barrier to entry will prevent new firms to come into the market. So monopoly will continue to be in existence because new firms cannot come into the market. So the dominance of that firm will continue to be in existence, except if government intervene. By government intervention, then they could break the monopoly. So this is what we meant by market structures. We have perfect competition, where we have large numbers of firms selling to the same large numbers of customers, and each firm or customers within the industry and competitors, they have access to the same information. We have monopolistic competition, which they sell differentiated products, and each firm can have control over its price. Then we have oligopoly, where few large firms dominate the industry by producing the largest output within the industry. And the last one is monopoly, which exists because we have one firm or one business supplying the goods within that industry.